Welcome to Golden Bachelor. If you love celebrity news and real entertainment updates, you're in the right place. There are love stories that surprise us, love stories that warm our hearts, and then there are love stories that make the entire world pause, smile, and say, "Well, didn't see that coming." This is one of those stories. It begins with two people who crossed paths under bright studio lights, surrounded by cameras and roses, but somehow found something far more real than either of them ever expected. Peg and Mel. A pair that, at first glance, didn't seem destined to be the talk of anyone's romantic dreams. And yet, here we are. Mel Owens entered the spotlight carrying a reputation. People said he was too blunt, too demanding, too specific about what he wanted. Some weren't thrilled with him. Some doubted him entirely. And others assumed that the man who once played professional sports couldn't possibly open his heart the way this journey required. But life has a funny way of proving everyone wrong. Because then came Peg Munson. Peg was everything Mel never knew he needed. Warm, genuine, grounded, and wonderfully unexpected. She didn't try to impress him. She didn't compete with anyone. She showed up as herself, and somehow that was enough to disarm even a man who spent years training to never show weakness. Together, they laughed. They challenged each other. They flirted like two teenagers who stumbled into love for the very first time. And somewhere in between the drama, the dates, and the moment everyone held their breath waiting for a proposal that never quite came, their connection grew roots. Mel didn't get down on one knee, but he did offer something else, something quieter, more meaningful, and just as symbolic. A promise ring. A promise that he wasn't done trying, learning, or growing. A promise that he wanted Peg in his life even when the cameras turned off. And Peg accepted. Fast forward to today. No rose petals, no staged romance. Just the real world, where love either thrives or fades. And in their case, it's thriving. Peg recently shared a video that caught everyone off guard. Not because of drama, not because of scandal, but because of something much simpler, something far more entertaining. Her partner, Mel Owens, shirtless, sweaty, completely in his zone, working out like he was preparing for the Super Bowl all over again. And while he punched that bag, muscles flexing, hair tousled, and that familiar grin sneaking onto his face, Peg proudly claimed him as her man. The internet exploded, in a very good way. People cheered, people laughed, people applauded, and some may or may not have replayed the video more often than they will ever admit. Fans said he looked incredible. Others said Peg looked even happier. And many noted the chemistry between them, fiery, playful, and absolutely unmistakable. Peg wasn't shy. She showed off the man she chose. And for the first time, many saw a softer side of Mel, even behind all that intensity. Some viewers wondered whether Mel ever showcased Peg the way she showcased him. Others pointed out that he simply seemed more private, more reserved. But the way he looked at her, whether on camera or off, spoke louder than any social media post ever could. And then came the comments. People calling them a perfect match. People saying Mel somehow looked even better now than he did years ago. People sending blessings, prayers, heart emojis, and enthusiastic cheers. But the biggest takeaway wasn't the admiration for Mel's physique or Peg's charm. It was the love between them. A love that didn't depend on fancy proposals, dramatic speeches, or television-perfect moments. A love that seemed built on laughter, late-night conversations, teasing jokes, shared memories, and a bond strong enough to keep growing long after the show ended. Peg's fans adore her. Mel's fans admire him. But together, they've become a couple people root for. The kind of couple that proves romance doesn't have an expiration date. The
The kind of couple that makes you believe love can start anywhere, even on a stage designed for drama and entertainment. And the kind of couple that still surprises each other, still makes each other blush, still makes each other laugh, and still chooses each other every day. That workout video wasn't just a "look at my man" moment. It was Peg saying in her own playful way, "I'm proud of him, I'm happy, and yes, he's still got it." And Mel, even without posting, even without shouting it to the world, he's shown time and time again, through his actions, his smiles, and his commitment, he's proud of her, too. The two of them stand as an example of what can happen when people look past first impressions, when they give each other a chance, when they focus on connection rather than perfection. So the question remains, will Peg and Mel last? No one can predict the future. But everything we've seen, their laughter, their energy, their support for one another, and the way Peg beams when she talks about him, suggests that this chapter of their story is just beginning. And maybe that's why people are so invested. Because deep down, everyone wants to believe in a love that continues to bloom long after the cameras stop rolling. A love that has flaws and quirks and humor. A love that's both romantic and real. Peg and Mel are writing that story right now. So whether you're cheering for them, laughing with them, or simply enjoying the unfolding of their journey, one thing is certain. This couple has captured hearts in a way no one saw coming. If their story inspires you, touches you, or simply entertains you, don't keep it to yourself. Share your thoughts, your hopes, your predictions. Because sometimes love stories grow even stronger when people around the world root for them. And who knows? Maybe Peg will drop another unexpected video. Maybe Mel will surprise everyone with a grand gesture. Or maybe they'll continue doing exactly what they've been doing, loving quietly, laughing loudly, and proving that second chances at love can be as magical as the first. Whatever happens next, this story is far from over, and for many, that's the most exciting part of all. Love doesn't always arrive with fireworks. Sometimes it slips quietly into someone's life, almost unnoticed at first, and then one day it becomes impossible to ignore. That's what happened to Peg and Mel, two people who stepped onto a televised stage looking for connection, and walked away with something far more powerful than either of them could have predicted. After the show wrapped up, after the final decisions were made, and after the world moved on to its next big drama, Peg and Mel found themselves facing something many couples never experience: life after the cameras stop rolling. And that's where their real story began.
Discovered what it meant to be vulnerable without an audience, to laugh without microphones, to argue without producers stepping in, to make choices, not based on what viewers wanted, but what they wanted. At first, it wasn't easy. Mel had always been strong, centered, and direct, the type of man who spoke his mind even when it wasn't popular. Peg, on the other hand, approached life with patience, grace, and an almost magical ability to soften the edges around any room she walked into. Their differences were obvious, but their connection even more obvious. Mel admired Peg's heart, the way she listened without judgment, the way she cared, the way she could turn a quiet moment into something meaningful. And Peg? She admired Mel's loyalty, his humor, his unexpected tenderness, the way he looked at her like she was the one, and somehow always had been. And yes, she admired his fitness too. Peg wasn't shy about it. When a man looks like Mel and works out like he does, it's impossible not to notice, especially when he's doing push-ups in jeans, like some kind of romantic comedy fantasy scene. Peg didn't plan to share that video, but the moment she saw Mel sweating, smiling, and training with all the intensity of his football days, something inside her said, "Everyone needs to see this." So she posted it, not to show off, not to stir up chatter, but because she was proud of the man she'd chosen, proud of the relationship they'd built, proud of the simple, effortless happiness they shared. And fans understood that.
What made the video explode wasn't Mel's physique, though it definitely didn't hurt. It was Peg's laughter behind the camera, her little moment of playful pride, and the warmth in her voice as she admired him without trying to hide it. You can't manufacture that kind of affection. You can't fake that kind of chemistry. People noticed how Peg talked about him, how her eyes lit up, how she joked, teased, and celebrated him. And for once, even Mel's critics softened. They saw a different side of him, a man not defined by past comments or strict expectations, but the smile he saved only for her. When people say two people fit, it usually means they have matching hobbies or similar personalities. But Peg and Mel, they fit because they balance each other. Mel is steel, Peg is sunlight. Mel is structure, Peg is flow. Mel brings fire, Peg brings calm. Together they create something neither could achieve alone. And even though they didn't leave the finale with a ring on Peg's finger, they left with something more honest. The beginning of a partnership that didn't need a big dramatic moment to mean something. Their moments came afterward. Like the first time Mel cooked for Peg and burned the entire meal, then pretended he meant to do it for ambiance. Or the time Peg tried to teach Mel a slow dance, and they ended up laughing so hard they never actually finished the steps. Or the time Peg insisted she could do Mel's workout routine and realized mid-push-up that she had overestimated her upper body strength by approximately all of it. Those were the moments that made their story real. Moments with no script, no lighting, no wardrobe team. Just two people trying to build a life. People don't fall in love with perfection. They fall in love with moments. And Peg and Mel's relationship is full of moments that make you smile, even if you're hearing about them for the first time. Maybe that's why fans reacted so strongly to Peg's video. It wasn't just admiration for Mel's physical side. It was appreciation for the joy Peg felt. Appreciation for how much they'd grown. Appreciation for the simple fact that love looked good on them. People began commenting things like, "He looks great, but the way you look at him, even better. You two are a whole vibe. He's aging backwards. What kind of magic is this?" Some even joked that Peg should start charging a fee every time she uploads a video of Mel working out. Others teased Mel, saying, "Sir, jeans? Really? Who trains in jeans?" But Peg didn't care. Mel didn't care. They just kept living, laughing, and loving in their own way. And that's what makes their story so compelling. It isn't dramatic. It isn't chaotic. It isn't designed for headlines. It's two adults choosing each other without hesitation, without fear, and without worrying about what the world thinks. There's something beautiful about that. Most people spend their lives searching for a love that feels safe, a love that feels warm, a love that feels like coming home after being lost for too long. Peg and Mel found that, not on the grand finale, but in the quiet days afterward. They've become the couple people look at and think, if they can find love again, maybe I can too. Maybe that's why their fans cheer so loudly. Maybe that's why every update from them gets shared. Maybe that's why people want this couple to last. Because Peg and Mel represent hope. Hope that love can arrive late. Hope that connection can grow after doubt. Hope that second chances can be better than first ones. And their story isn't slowing down. Peg keeps posting little glimpses of their life. Mel keeps showing up, sometimes serious, sometimes goofy, sometimes covered in sweat from a workout Peg insists on filming. And every time they appear together, they remind the world that love doesn't age, it evolves. So, will they last? No one can promise forever, but they're choosing today, and today is enough. Because every great love story is written one day at a time. And something about Peg and Mel suggests that they are far from finished. If anything, they're just warming up. So as their story unfolds, as fans continue to cheer for them, and as Peg proudly shares every moment that makes her heart flutter, one thing is certain. Love looks really, really good on them. And if you've been watching their journey and rooting for them, now's your chance to share your thoughts. Do you believe their love will keep growing? Do you think they're meant to be? And what moment of theirs has touched you the most? Because love stories like this don't come around every day. But when they do, they're worth celebrating. Thanks for watching Golden Bachelor. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next big story.